In recent years, Sadhguru has risen as a storm in the Indian public sphere. With a large personal following and immense influence among politicians, Sadhguru has emerged as a phenomenon in India. He holds yoga programs all across the world, runs a massive project to revive Indian rivers, and is the author of many best-selling books. He has regular conversations with actors, athletes, businessmen, and politicians. Whether it be questions about politics or science, history or philosophy, Sadhguru has an opinion on everything. In this 3-part series, we will unravel the enigma of Sadhguru to understand his political views, his yogic methods, his spiritual siddhis, and his persona as a guru. The aim is to give you an insight into the reasons behind his mass following, and if you are a spiritual seeker, to allow you to make an informed choice about whether you should follow Sadhguru or not. The 3 videos are organized in a way that they move from secular dimensions of Sadhguru's social and political views to more subtle spiritual aspects of his personality. There are diverse and often contradictory opinions about Sadhguru prevalent in the Indian public sphere. On one side, we have T.M. Krishna, one of the finest Carnatic singers of our times, who tweeted that Sadhguru perpetuates nonsensical ideas and people listen to him because he uses modern vocabulary and speaks in an English accent. On the other side, we have Shekhar Kapoor, the film director, who's even been nominated for the Oscar award. Let's listen to his words on Sadhguru.
The experience of being with Sadhguru can only be described in one very inadequate, misunderstood word called love. Love not in the form that we all look at it, but love as in complete surrender. Love as in complete compassion. Love as in compassion not for every other being, not for any time, but for every act of creation. Beyond statements, beyond love, beyond words, beyond even yearning, there lies somewhere there an access point to something that is eternal.
Shekhar Kapoor calls Sadhguru an access point to something eternal. Perhaps he sees something more in Sadhguru than his command over the English language. Similarly, in social media, there are largely 2 kinds of voices we hear on Sadhguru. Firstly are the small independent media houses that represent Sadhguru as a charlatan, a fraud.
There was also Sadhguru, the Ram Rahim of South Delhi, minus the criminal charges of course.
और जो हमारे यहाँ के बाबा हैं, उनमें से बहुत तो इस वक्त जेल में हैं, जैसे राम रहीम, डेरा सच्चा सौदा, जैसे रामपाल, जैसे आसाराम बापू. एक आध्यात्मिक गुरु हैं, आजकल उनका बोलबाला चल रहा है. उनका नाम है सदगुरु जग्गी वासुदेव, ईशा फाउंडेशन. आप अपना चला रहे हैं, चलाते रहिए. पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी, संविधान, संसद, इनकी इज्जत करना सीखिए.
On the other hand, we have the ardent followers of Sadhguru who consider him as nothing less than the divine, a reincarnation of Lord Shiva.
Whole space was just with his energy, blasting with his energy.
Just felt like the Shiva was there. I just couldn't take it anymore after that. It just looked like he was there.
Hey Shiva.
There is some truth in all these ideas. However, both these opinions are inadequate and limited in their perspective, and we will try to bring these contradictory opinions in conversation with each other to understand the persona of Sadhguru. But before we do that, we have to find an appropriate metaphor that grapples with the personality of Sadhguru. Among his other activities, Sadhguru also engages in the esoteric activity of creating yantras, and we will understand the persona of Sadhguru through the traditional metaphor of a yantra. The word yantra literally means machine. It's a mystical diagram intrinsic to Indian spiritual tradition. It is a manifestation of the sacred in symbolic form. There are 4 gates on the side of the yantra. It is from these doors that the aspirant enters the cosmic field. The doors and the outer limits of the yantra represent the gross physical elements of our existence. And as we move inside, we encounter more subtle spiritual realms. At the center of the yantra is the bindu, which is the source of energy. The energy of the bindu gets transferred into different concentric circles. In India, yantras are drawn on paper, inscribed on metals, and painted on the walls of the house. The basic design of the yantra can be expanded to create grand structures. Most traditional Indian temples have been constructed as yantras, where all the manifestations of the physical world are carved onto the exterior walls of the temple. As we move from the outer walls to the inner core, we move from the gross to the subtle, from the material to the spiritual, from the physical to the non-physical, from the world to the divine. Yantra as a model can be used to construct an entire city. The city of Banaras, with its innumerable temples, is constructed as a massive yantra, with a series of concentric circles that merge at the central locus of the famous Vishwanath temple.
Kashi is a phenomenal yantra, like never before or never after.
In this series, we will consider Sadhguru as a yantra, and the 3 videos will mark a journey from the outer door to the inner core of this yantra. At every stage, we will express our doubts and disagreements about the methods, morality and the ethics of this yantra. At the outset of this yantra, most people encounter Sadhguru as a speaker, a YouTuber, and Sadhguru has an enormous presence on YouTube. He has around 20 official channels in more than 15 languages with 12 million subscribers worldwide. On YouTube, Sadhguru emerges as a motivational speaker who provides daily doses of wisdom, wit and humor.
Now women are arguing, God could be a woman. Such problems exist only in those cultures. In India, we have man god, we have woman god, we have cow god, we have monkey god, we have everything. Every kind, crawling one, creeping one, flying one. Because we foresaw all the problems of the future.
At the center of his talks, Sadhguru urges people to take responsibility of their emotions and create blissfulness as part of their inner experience.
Yes. One's own thought and emotion has become such a huge suffering. Outside will never happen 100% the way you want it. We can manage it to some extent. But at least what happens within you must happen the way you want it. If right now what happened within you was happening the way you want it, would you keep yourself at the highest level of pleasantness or no?
Sadhguru intends to reach out to a wider audience, and thus he designs his videos in a way so that they resonate with the diverse kinds of people. There is a series on young people called Youth and Truth, where he engages with young students. There's a series where he engages with celebrities called In Conversation with the Mystic. And there's a series where he narrates stories from the lives of Lord Shiva called Shiva, Living Death. Sadhguru's Youth for Truth campaign was an attempt to allure the youth of the country. The series was designed in a way that students raised questions and Sadhguru answered them, ensuring that the conversations revolved around the issues of young students. For college students, Sadhguru emerged as a strange spiritual leader who openly confronted issues of love, suicide, sexuality, and even topics such as pornography, masturbation, and marijuana. Sadhguru's open discussion of taboo issues has amazed and ultimately attracted young audience towards his personality. The persona of a lavishly attired, long-bearded guru who revels in technology, drives expensive bikes and travels all across the world was immediately fascinating for the young engineering and business graduates. For the older people on YouTube, Sadhguru has refashioned Hindu myths for the modern world. He tells tales from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata and the Shiv Purana. He narrates stories of old yogis, the significance of rituals, the architecture of temples, and all of it is permeated with an underlying pride at the greatness of Indian civilization. He captures both the essence of traditional India and the desires and the aspirations of modern India, which makes him the ultimate guru for the rising middle class. At the outset of this yantra are also people who are critical of Sadhguru. They perceive him as a glib talker who manipulates people with his words and creates a fortune for himself. Sadhguru as a speaker has been criticized for his views on gender, science and politics. And with this criticism, we have arrived at the first moment of doubt and disagreement in this journey, as we will explore Sadhguru's ideas on politics. We will understand Sadhguru's politics through his contradictory opinions on police brutality. Let's listen to Sadhguru's views on the police violence that led to the death of George Floyd in America.
At this time, unfortunately, this racism has exploded. Well, it is happening all the time. Nobody who has a darker shade of skin is completely immune to it. But this particular George Floyd case was too stark and cannot be ignored. We must understand this. I'm cruel to the pigs, but I'm nice to the people is not going to work. Because once there is selective cruelty in your heart, one day you will call some human being a pig and do the same things to him.
More than anything, in his whole video on George Floyd, there was not a word, not even a syllable about how the protests grew violent at certain spaces and shops were burned down in USA. That was irrelevant to the larger debate around racism and police brutality. Similarly, in India, massive protests were organized by Karni Sena against Deepika Padukone's movie Padmavat for hurting Rajput pride. The protesters burned down buses, attacked public property and officially announced that they would cut the nose of the lead actresses. And yet the police did not take firm action against them. Let's listen to Sadhguru's response to the police in action.
When they were burning buses, then I called somebody, a very responsible person in the country, and said, "What is this? How are we allowing this to happen? If you don't like a movie, don't go." We handle them rough on the street. Tomorrow if these 100 women, even if 10 of them burn themselves, it'll become an international issue. So let the buses burn for 1 or 2 days, then we will deal with it. I thought this is a strange kind of wisdom, but it is wisdom.
Sadhguru claims that the police restraint is also a form of wisdom, and in a way I completely agree with him. When the public is outraged, restraint is a form of wisdom for police officials. However, a few months before George Floyd's murder, the Delhi police marched into the Central Library of Jamia University and indiscriminately smashed students for participating in anti-CAA protest. In this brutal attack, students were physically injured, mentally traumatized, and one student lost his vision in one of his eyes. And Sadhguru defended the police's actions.
Illiterate youth in the universities went wild. Only everybody is changing their stance and saying, no, we are reacting because of police atrocity. When they go, well, if she's throwing stones and she is not, both will get beaten, unfortunately, because she's sitting next to her. This is the way it works in the crowd, huh? All of them who are sitting together, everybody gets beaten. But I think they didn't use their firepower. That is a lot of restraint, otherwise people would have died in big numbers.
In the anti-CAA protests also, public property was damaged. There were videos of police officials damaging scooters and cars, and there were claims that protesters had also damaged public property. However, the larger protests around the country were mostly peaceful. In response, Sadhguru tweeted, "All who destroy public property, their properties must be confiscated and costs recovered." This was equivalent to stating that people who protested against George Floyd's murder, if any of those protesters were caught vandalizing the streets, they should be arrested and their private property should be seized in order to rebuild public property. Later, the Isha Foundation conducted a poll asking people if the student protests were justified or not. When a large number of people supported the protests against the government, the Isha Foundation instantly deleted their Twitter poll. Later in Delhi riots, similar to George Floyd, Delhi police was caught on video beating a Muslim boy, Faizan, who was later found dead. Sadhguru did not speak a word about the incident.
This is our problem, that we are moved by one cruelty, we are not moved by another. I'm cruel to the pigs, but I'm nice to the people is not going to work. Because once there is selective cruelty in your heart, one day you will call some human being a pig and do the same things to him.
I do not know about selective cruelty, but when it comes to political and social matters, Sadhguru has often shown selective compassion. To those of us who follow Sadhguru, this hypocrisy is distressing and devastating at a personal level. So what does Sadhguru actually believe? Does he believe in police restraint or does he believe in seizing the property of the protesters? The commonality in both these instances is not in Sadhguru's opinions, but the fact that in either case he supports the government. When police and the government show restraint, it is wisdom. When they beat up students and kill protesters, that is also wisdom. Sadhguru's decision to support government in all endeavors and to dismiss any form of criticism can only be referred to as political opportunism. Often, Sadhguru appears as a torchbearer for the BJP government, and whenever Sadhguru is accused of being a BJP supporter, he responds in these terms.
My association with Bharatiya Janata Party? Well, in Tamil Nadu, we are working with the local government So you can say, I've joined AIDMK. In Andhra Pradesh, we are working in the education sector, so I have joined Telugu Desam Party. With the Rally for Rivers, we are very active with the Karnataka government right now. You think I've joined JDS? If you do not bow down to the people's will, you think your opinion, what I think is more important than what the people have elected, this means you don't believe in democracy. You want feudalistic nonsense once again.
This response captures the heart of Sadhguru's politics. He states that since he works with governments from all ideological backgrounds, he essentially supports democracy. Democracy is much more than the government. It's about a fair media, a robust justice system, and people's movement. The right way to describe Sadhguru's politics is not as pro-democracy, but as pro-government. Whoever is in power, Sadhguru will find ways to support and defend them. So while Westerners encounter Sadhguru only as a yogi, in India we also see him as entrenched in structures of power and constantly defending powerful politicians and their ideologies. And therefore the liberal media is deeply suspicious of any act performed by Sadhguru. In the next two videos, I will offer a personal as well as a philosophical reason behind this conservative attitude of Sadhguru. However, people do not follow Sadhguru for its political views, like they do not follow T.M. Krishna for his ideology. They follow T.M. Krishna because he's a great Carnatic singer, and similarly people follow Sadhguru because he's an accomplished yogi. Often, Sadhguru has himself stated that all these innumerable YouTube videos, question answers and endless meetings are like clickbaits, a way of getting people interested in something beyond.
YouTube videos are titillation, just to tickle you a little bit. Because the world is not in a condition of sensitivity to life where they will naturally see the need to look for something profound.
Therefore, to love or hate Sadhguru based on his YouTube videos is to have a very, very limited view of the man. Or to use another terminology, these endless videos are like decorations on the doors of the Yantra, the sculpture on the exterior walls of the temple. There is nothing wrong to judge the temple only by its external beauty or external ugliness. It's just that you will end up having a very limited perspective of the temple. So the only work of these sculptures is to lure you inside, to entice you to enter the inner sanctorum of the temple. So join me for the next video as we step inside this yantra called Sadhguru. If you like the video, please press the like button and comment on the video. And if you're interested in similar content on Indian spirituality, please subscribe to the channel. The aim of this series is to introduce you to the spiritual aspects of Sadhguru. And therefore, I have selected 3 videos and 4 books that will open up different dimensions of Sadhguru. They're all in the description, and I will urge you to buy the books through the link given in the description. That'll be a small way in which you can support our channel. Thank you.